former top global gourd.
Yeah.
Is that sound?
I think it's sound.
Are you happy with that kind of approach?
Yeah, so then that's what I'm saying. I think they are just relying on Super Prince, you know, the mechanical skills for him to have. This is interesting too. Clint has been popping back up in the meta. Even yesterday he was being played.
75% win rate.
Yeah.
I believe that's all, mostly on Severo. If not all on Severo.
Yeah. There's one, most of it is Severo. And there's also one yesterday from Dominic.
Dominic. Yeah. Oh yeah, he played it, yep.
Yeah, he played it yesterday. And I think the key to that is actually having it paired up with just members who can peel so much for the Clint, whether it's through crowd control or through damage because you're sending Team Liquid Philippines back. Because even the Gourd Clint yesterday was deadly for Aurora. And now they even add the Grok there. Surprisingly, we don't see Grok as much anymore, but then with the pressure applied by the Marcel, well, with Khalid and Hildegon, the Grok does add to that pressure. Eve, as expected, is locked in there for Sanji. So I'm just really looking at how the early trades are going to be dealt with by ONIC Philippines, but it is important.
Well, here we go. Golden Rivalry. First match of the day before we end out our regular season. We know what's on the line here for the playoffs, that upper bracket spot to be solidified or not for Team Liquid Philippines, and we jump into it.
I love that Daddy JP put a Purifier on Marcel. It throws me back to whenever a chip puts a Purifier on itself, just to make sure that the shortcut happens. Here, it's for the golden hour.
Yeah, and the good thing with that is also beyond saving himself, if ever whoever he can give a shield to during the golden hour, any of his allies, good escape for both of them. All right, Severo, fine, handling the lane relatively well, but did get forced to use his regen. Not a lot of really deep invades, but JP is getting the trump over ONIC so far in terms of vision, while Brusco and Super Prince are just taking their sweet time, making sure that minion waves are healthily cleared by these two, because them going into level 4 or getting closer to level 4 by Turtle 1 is going to be an important condition for them to trade with the Eve lineup.
Yep, a lot of good information here coming from both roamers on each side as well, wanting to go ahead and secure these buffs for their junglers and get things set up in that first turtle.
Interesting how the first minute and a half has elapsed, because we talked about Aura in the pre-match panel.
Yeah.
It seems like ONIC have let go of the orange gambit. Like, they're not even trying. They didn't even cross the river.
Yeah, I think they knew it'd be way too risky with the pokes from Sanji, with the Marcel there. Okay, so we're seeing a little bit of what Coach RC mentioned earlier about how difficult it is to trade with Severo in lane, and we see why Clint is getting popular again.
Yeah, you're seeing it, you know, throughout the weeks here. We've been talking about Severo's performance of being that first import throughout the league here in the MPL Philippines, and I think he's done more than prove himself worthy to just be called one of the more deadly gold laners and so versatile in the lane. The fight for this first turtle, half health.
Oh, nice jump, Requiem, the answer. King Kong, they take out 40, but Liquid happy with the turtle.
Yeah, that's exactly what Liquid wanted. Even though Sanford went down, they did everything to stop King Kong. The Platinum Snap, the crowd control coming in from the Marcel, plus the fact that Sanford committed Flicker with his penalty zone. That just went all to plan for Liquid.
Oh, big swing here. Putting Teddy up against the wall. A lot of damage coming through from Severo. Carl Easy looking to repair the situation. Taking Brusco down to 5th of his health. Throwing out the charge Quella.
Oh, Severo, he's half health, but yeah, he's going to be able to go ahead and stay in that lane. Good response there from Carl Easy to be there in time for that. Great rotations. This is what we were talking about in Piece of Victory as well. The Sigma rotation and the GOAT rotations on both sides.
The gotation.
Gotation. So far, we're seeing a little bit more of the gotations, but King Kong is balancing it out with some invades towards the Beetle top side. Now, one thing to note, why even more so this Clint looks really good, against roamers that would want to have the support emblem set, early burst coming in from the gold laner is not good for them, or early burst from anyone, not good for them. So you see, when JP's going to be going up to Severo's lane, he's going to be taking a lot of damage despite being a roamer.
Yeah, that's something that I think most Marcel's feeling like they're going to have to deal with. You know, part of it, again, is we've been seeing Marcel players, these roamers, try to figure out the best way, the most efficient way to play him, and also utilize the Golden Hour ultimate. But, you know, this might just be part of the plan for JP to maintain throughout the game and the pace that they need.
Turtle number 2 spawns in the lower quarter, so that means Teddy and Severo will be part of the action.
So far, not a lot of pressure coming out from ONIC. They've been just playing very safely, which is okay. Even though it's not their usual MO, at least Severo gets farm and they're looking fine. Oh!
Okay. Odd positioning for 40s. There is Paria Smith keeping him fairly alive, but this engage by King Kong will compromise Liquid, at least pre-turtle.
Yeah, so at least for Sanford, he'll go back, he'll reset. Looking at the items here for the gold laners.
Yeah, the full build item just yet for either just rushing components. It's been happening a lot more that roamers are actually going for rapid boots as their priority shoes.
It's because I guess they just want to be able to rotate through this map, and also broken walls, being able to move and maneuver through them.
Yeah. Not just roamers, actually a lot of roles now. I've seen a few gold laners in MSL Thailand pick up rapid boots. They just want to be part of fights.
Yeah, EXP laners as well.
Oh, that's a rampart and a penalty zone compromising that turtle take. Golden Hour stopping it. Kirk jumping on. Infernal Pursuit on a Carl TZ, pushing out the GOAT. Very low members. It's ONIC scoring the second turtle, and they're not done. Bruska with a rampart, plus the gush. Down goes 40. Kirk is burning, but he's fine. The projectile thrown out to back Teddy off.
ONIC. They waited for the right moment and they finally got it, and it seems like we're seeing a little bit of the idea behind picking up the Marcel, seeing the gourd. Yeah, you cancel it out just a little bit, but as long as Chris is alive, woo, it's fine.
Severo flickers back.
He went to deadly Teddy mode there for a second, trying to at least push Severo off. He's going to have to go reset though, so Severo's got really good control in this lane, especially with Brusco down in this bottom side. I think, oh no.
Oh, Requiem, and the gush finds 40. The third death for the Apex Predator.
Yeah, they're man-marking Sanford. Something that we see a lot in the past of Liquid, even during their time as Echo, is if ever Liquid are looking way too strong and teams are finding a way to beat them, they start off with something simple. Make sure Sanford's impact is diminished.
And that's one of the downsides of a Terizla. We've seen this time and time again since he's started to get picked up. If the flicker's down, you kind of have to make the decision. Do I penalty zone defensively, or do I hold on to this? And he's just getting stunned and whittled down.
Even to take this to the next level, Joseph, even if this wasn't a Terizla, as long as you neuter 40, Liquid is a different beast entirely. Yeah. That's just not the kind of play he's used to. On the other hand, Kirk has won championships by going 0-8.
Yeah, like just be in that punching bag, basically.
Yeah, and that's why he decided to go for more a component-based build.
Maneuvers in mid.
Okay, it's JP compromising Kirk. That's a gush used defensively. Golden Hour. Carl TZ gets jumped on by King Kong. He gets the combo and the knockup. Oh my lord, Carl TZ deleted off the map.
Oh man, Carl TZ taken out. Really good counterplay from ONIC.
King Kong's not done. Sanji here does get a shield from JP. Liquid looking like they want to pick a fight. That's Kirk backing off. ONIC are up 1,000 gold.
You see here why the Phobius and the Guinevere together just works wonders. Besides them feeding into each other's kits, JP!
Ooh, JP! Track it shot, deadly, Teddy coming in! Savannah in trouble! Brusco can't save him with a tech charge! That's Liquid's first kill!
There he is, deadly Teddy! And now the fight for this turtle, last one of the game, TLPH has control.
Yeah, chef's kiss that Teddy even committed that Purify, knowing that the Grok knockup was coming for him, and it just cancels it out.
Oh man, you're seeing them take advantage of it. Nothing, Kirk's jumping on in for JP. He is low, but he scoots on out of there. He's gonna be fine. A little bit of pressure on the purple buff of ONIC. They'll go ahead and reset. TLPH keeps things in equilibrium, right? This is not one of those games where you're gonna see a massive lead build up on either side.
This rarely happens. 8 minutes in, even with a 4-1 and a 1-2 turtle split, the gold lead swings back and forth. It rarely exists.
Yeah, it's a lot based on the trades that we've been seeing, those skirmishes. Looking at the items, Sanford decided to go for the War Axe first. Now going back to my point with Kirk, he went for more components. So Black Ice, Silent Robe.
Uh-oh, RWM catches Super Friends. Carl TZ scores. Joseph, this is what I was saying.
Yeah, I felt that one, Leo. I felt that right there. You can't escape a flicker penalty zone from Sanford or any Terizla, really.
Yeah, add to that, Sanji placed down the RWM perfectly.
And King Kong finds it. Requiem on the JP. He gets out via Purify.
All right. Liquid are now going to be looking to flow some minion waves. Top and bot. They get Teddy handling bot. They get a 3-man play up top to handle top. So now ONIC are going to have to play through map recovery. Get some flow in.
Whoop.
Oh, man. Okay. This is the other thing that I feel like ONIC really has to take control of right now before this next Lord comes up is taking care of the map. Not letting TLPH get their way.
Oh, 40! Claudia Smith, more than willing. DPZ might have been overkill.
You see what I said, though? When you don't have the flicker, you have to decide in the moment, do I just use the penalty zone or not?
Yeah, a lot of these gold swings are coming off of trades out of nowhere in the center of the map. Super Prince lands a projectile that can get a gush in, or a surprise entry by Carl Teasy, Sanford, the Sanji just dropping in the Starfield. I really like how these two are not holding back in terms of getting advantages from these little skirmishes. With the nature of these two lineups, it's better than just slowly playing for the minion waves, playing around objectives, get those kills.
That's just not the kind of matchup the Golden Rivalry is.
Yeah.
Well, this one comes down to this first Lord here. ONIC will pull it through, but it is going to go for this reset. Again, we see this a lot with the Broken Walls map with the Lord. There's multiple ways to go ahead and handle it.
Yeah, 2-level gap between Carl Teasy and King Kong, by the way.
Okay.
And this is, oh my lord, nice catch here! Crush throw down from the Salmon Force. Requiem catches King Kong, but he's on out of here. Sanford finds him. Golden Hour, but Kurt takes out Sanji. Swinging away, Carl Teasy once more. Burnout Pursuit. Brusco gets cracked in half by Teddy. And Carl Teasy takes down Kirk. That's why he's called QB1.
Starfield comes down right on time. ONIC couldn't take Sanji down fast enough, and this is Lord 1 going to Liquid without any problem.
Man, another decisive fight showcased here by TLPH in the first Lord. This is what we see. Even if a team is able to keep pace or keep things under control in the early to mid game, by the time you get to that first Lord, that's where TLPH plays the map and around this objective so well. Let's take a look at the replay here.
Yeah, it was the initiation from ONIC, but Teddy was free to jump onto Prince, forcing the flicker and ending the Mystic Gush early. That's why they couldn't get Sanji down quick enough. Teddy was not caught by ONIC.
A great usage of the Golden Hour as well. That's something we talked about that JP is going to have to utilize, and that kept Brusco there frozen in time for just long enough that they could deal with and reposition into that team fight. So in literally a one team fight, look at the gold lead. It's ballooned up almost 5,000 gold.
And even without that team fight, if it was just straight up Lord into conversions, Liquid would have ended up with the same lead.
Yeah.
That's just how they play. You give them an inch, they take a mile. Can't fit a horse in a box. Oh, they take tier 1 in mid. That's it, the main artery with a Lord down bot.
Yeah, one thing to note also for the Suyo is that more and more we're seeing less Skypiercer rush for the Suyo. This is just old school Suyo style with the Hunter Strike, the War Axe, and the Malefic Roar. Liquid continue their pressure into the orange side of ONIC. They still have the Lord with them. This is going to be a huge gold swing and map favor for them.
Yep, they will clear this Lord out before it gets to the wave here, before it gets to the shield. No, shield's gone. And so this is the thing. TLPH will go ahead and play the discipline route. They'll get some of these tier 2s down. Oh, little beam thrown out by JP, but he's fine. So has his Purify too. Little damage check from Super Prince, which is still respectable. Again, you know, it's more so of, can he get the full use of the ultimate of the Gourd, that Mystic Gush? Can he actually get the placement he's looking for?
And I think that's what we're missing with the whole Harley ban.
Yeah.
Is because that should have been a shred. Here instead, it's Guinevere Gourd. So there is a CC set up, and then you get the Gush. It's just, there's not much of a payoff.
Yeah.
The payoff doesn't come until Severo also has a full stack of items, and he's ready to just burst down anyone that gets in front of him. With him packing the flicker, he might even commit that flicker to go for a really deep dive onto Sanji or a better angle onto Teddy instead of using it for escape. So let's look at Severo where he's at in items. 1,000 behind it against the Aerith. He built up his Skypiercer earlier. Does have the Malefic Gun. This scenario, one more, and then he should be fine. The 5th item for a Clint is really just consolation at this point. Once you get to 4, you're fully locked. That's how much he hurts.
Yeah, we've seen it before. Clint can pop off. This is the other thing, too, I guess, that you can think about is just that combination of not having the Harley and the Genius Wand that's usually built there is why that burst works so well with a Gourd. You're able to go ahead and shred through targets, but now you just have to rely on crowd control from the Guinevere.
Yeah, and speaking of crowd control on the other side of Liquid, my suggestion for ONIC in my head is if you could somehow bait out the Starfield, the real world manipulation, but it's Sanji, that he will hold on to that, even if he's down to like 5% health, and then somehow find the perfect timing to utilize the shield that he'll get from it, and then make the most out of it. So easier said than done to try and force it out early.
See if ONIC can figure it out here. JP will spawn out Brusco, keep him in check. They're going to fight for positioning. Sanford, meanwhile, up top, going to go ahead and clear that lane out. They have pressure to deal with. There's the Sea Halberd, so another item locked in for Severo. TLPH win to play this long game here. They're going to do quite a bit of damage to Brusco, though. Is he going to be able to get out? They might try to force him to tech charge, but he doesn't. He holds on to it.
Oh, no. That might as well have been it, Joseph.
Yeah.
They let go. ONIC say, Liquid, you can take the Lord. We can't afford this fight.
Lacking that shred. It's also really difficult for ONIC to have considered picking up the carry earlier, considering that they already knew that the Eve was active. Which is why I was wondering why the Zetian of all bans. But instead of crying over spilled milk, let's see how they recover. They have the core items locked in for King Kong, but then the problem is even if they get that set, Team Liquid Philippines fights a really good long team fight that they can sustain through. They trump them in the damage. They trump them in the defensiveness as well. This might be it for this push. If it's not it, they're going to lose almost all, if not all, their base turrets.
Yeah, they've got to also watch out for Sanford. Oh, there's Burst! That's step one to having this cleared out. Take out JP. He didn't even get a chance to purify. He really didn't have many options to go to.
Okay, fair enough. That will at least make this a defensible pressure applied up top, but with all the ults thrown out, I think Liquid deserves to take down top lane tier 3.
Yeah. I think that should also be another equation. Fulvius into Harith, Fulvius is happy. But if there's an Eve on the other side, you can't really fight under the real world manipulation. So I think that has to be definitely something that needs to get checked by ONIC. In terms of how they can make a comeback, I don't think they're going to get a lot of these pickoffs that they get from time to time. Even if you get one, you still have a Terizla to deal with. Let's say you find JP again.
Yep.
Team Liquid still has a tank that they can work through. They still have a main initiator and the Terizla as well. Considering that Sanford decided to go for Immortality as his 4th item too, it's going to be costly to try and take down either the Marcel or the Terizla.
That's one of the things JP's doing. Look how aggressive he is with the conceal.
Runs through 2, has it, Golden Hour stops him in place, and that allows Liquid to stampede right on through. King Kong very low, Revenge Strike will take him down. Zaman Force dropped in, Kirk did not last a second underneath the pressure, and now in comes Liquid, they want more! Backline is taken down by Carl, and Carl walks away. They take down tier 3.
Sanji even flickered forward with the real-world manipulation just to show how ahead they are. And what a play by Carl!
Yep, he wants to go push that mid lane in so they can potentially end the game here. The rest of the 4 members of TLPH are in the base, while Brusco and Super Prince are on the defense.
They've got a wave in mid, a wave up top. Last inhibitor falls. Brusco doing his darndest. Summon Force coming through. Super Prince cannot drop the gush long enough. Liquid take game 1.